And hello, one and all, and welcome back, of course, to LCR Season 5. We are here for round 15 of our 16-part saga. My name is LCR Nuthead, and alongside me, TOR Smith, and you join us for this beautiful, picturesque and historic 3.61 mile circuit here at Suzuka, with 18 turns ahead of the guys, 8 hard to the left and 10 hard to the right, with a singular DRS protection zone and the singular DRS activation zone, with the super soft and medium tyres have been available. We're definitely going to need to meet some wets, as you'll see when we jump into the formation lap. It is peeing it down. Let's have a look. Just a few minutes ago, we had a gripping qualifying session, and here is your grid ahead of the Japanese Grand Prix. So LCR Mulder gets his third pole position, of course, now known as Mulder, forming those two on the slap, and he is on pole position alongside him, the championship contender of Dralex today, who could keep himself in the fight. But row 2 is led by the man who could call himself a three-time world champion today, LCR Leopard. Alongside him, though, the two-time race winner of Borrowed third box. Row 3 in the end is the Flying Finn of KLC Gianni and the Sauber of Wastrel in P6. LCR Hayden and Brad making All Force India fourth row. By the way, setting identical times in qualifying. Row 5 in the end is ESR Amaze and the reserve of LCR Apex. And finally, the one man outside the top 10 is the Haas of Gorstrab, of course, is just the same as Apex, a reserve. But the guys make their way thick and fast on the formation map. As mentioned before, my name's LCR Nuthead, alongside me, TR Smith. And Smith, what a crucial qualifying session we just witnessed.
Yep, absolutely gripping. The Flying Dutchman with an absolute stunning lap to get pole by 4, 5. I always get confused. It's 400s. Is that right?
Indeed.
Am I right?
You are?
Yep. So I always get muddled up between 10s and 100s. Easy to do. Yeah, brilliant lap from the Dutchman, but Dralex really, he's got a chance here. If he can get a good start, he's on the front row. He's got clear air, because obviously wet conditions, there's going to be obviously lots of spray, so it's going to be really tough. If he can get a good start, Dralex could well make it even tougher for Leopard, but obviously never discount the German.
Of course, LCR Mulder, formerly known as TR Stappen, is yet to win from pole position. And with 2 men behind him, we look to try and claim points today. It's going to be very difficult to do that. Just talking to you about the championship stipulations, by the way, today, of course, we're focusing on the chance for Leopard to become a three-time LCR World Champion. If Leopard takes the checkered flag today, he is champion. He will outscore by 7 points over Dralex, and that means on countback, he could not be caught mathematically at all. If Leopard comes second, he needs Dralex to come fourth, Dralex needs to come fourth to keep his championship hopes alive. Third and fifth, yada yada yada. Basically, the simple point of the story is if Dralex is outscored by Leopard by 7 points, Leopard will be a three-time champion. It's going to be a long one. As you can see, it's absolutely tipping it down here in Japan, and we're in for one hell of a story, as most people are getting disqualified from the formation lap, and Gorstrab is a fair way behind everyone, coming towards 130R. And well, Smith, we have to take a deep breath and really question what we're going to see, because we have no idea what to expect. Wastrel, EVR Matt, and Leopard and Brad have all become champions in Japan as we get ready for the 5 red lights in LCR Season 5. We're off in Japan. It's not Leopard looks speed. LCR Mulder got an okay start. Dralex got a good start. Boris getting a good start in the second race, but not quite able to do it. Gianni on the outside of it down towards turn 1. But Dralex is down the inside, immediately down towards turn 1. Couldn't do as Mulder broke down anymore. Just fine, as you can see. Boris defending as hard as he can against KLC Gianni through towards turn 2. We're on board with him now, just by managing to defend it just about. Meanwhile, Dralex got on the outside line down towards the S-curves. Couldn't get it done. And still he's behind just as long as he was before. Meanwhile, just getting past there with ESR Mates. Both the falls in a terrible start. They've dropped the road down towards ESR Mates, who jumps up into P7, but up towards the leaders, and it's fairly mute so far. Dralex went for the move, couldn't get it done, and we've seen it numerous times this season, particularly at Monza in the wet, as Leopard's got a tank slapper. He had a massive tank slapper on a Dunlop curve, gets away with it just about. Meanwhile, further down the ESR Mate's just past Wastrel, and the 2 Force India swap positions there with Hayden, now ahead of Brad. But what about further down? Was there any sign of front wing damage or any sort of contact, Smith?
Not that I could see. Obviously, mostly clean there off the start. Obviously, the big winner there was ESR Amaze, up 3 positions from 9th to 6th, and obviously, big losers there. Both Force Indias losing the position. I can't see any damage. I'm just having a look. No, can't see any damage on Hayden or Brad. So it looks like it was just not a great start for them.
Yeah, but they're now starting to slowly but surely recover it. Meanwhile, up towards the leaders, and Dralex is smelling opportunity. Of course, we saw Leopard have a massive tank slap out of Dunlop, but he got away with it. I don't know how on earth he managed to control that. You'd think he was racing the WRC, not in F1 with that sort of drifting on. But meanwhile, further down, as you can see, the two Red Bulls are on absolute charge here. We saw Gianni go for a move on, and meanwhile, Amaze is trying to move on his teammate here down towards the Casino Triangle. Amaze is not wasting any time getting towards the leaders. We saw him at Monza where he was unbelievably fast in the wet, and we're seeing that again. Meanwhile, Gorge Grab just passing Brad. Now Apex trying to pass him, but he couldn't get past again. Has to concede the fit. It's been a poor start for both the Force Indias, but the Red Bull of Amaze, we saw it in Monza, Smith. He was charging in the wet, and it's proving that again.
Yeah, absolutely stunning from the Red Bull driver. He's on an absolute charge, and I won't be long if hopefully if he can get past his teammate, he'll be on the right, on the back of Boris in no time. He's definitely one to watch, as we already know. Like you said, he's really, really good in the wet conditions, so he's definitely one to watch as the race goes on.
Indeed. Meanwhile, Leopard has dropped back by a second behind Dralex and Mulder. We saw this similar situation at the Italian Grand Prix because rain affected all race. When we saw Gianni and Dralex go off to lead, they then started to squabble. Then had an incident. We don't want to have to remind you of that one. That's certainly something Dralex wasn't. Remember, there's been a contact heading towards the hairpin. Mulder sort of had a half spin there because he sort of kissed the back. But meanwhile, the two Red Bulls are scrapping behind, but through towards 200R, and Dralex is found the opportunity to get past here as we go towards a better camera. Now goes the outside line down towards Spoon Curve. Mulder's screaming and worming away, but round the outside goes Dralex. He has the race lead, just what he needed. He took advantage of the fact that it was clear that Mulder was struggling with some sort of tyre grip or something like that. He wasn't quite feeling the mute of them, and now Leopard smells the opportunity down towards 130R. Leopard's going to go to the inside line against the Sauber, not really an overtaking move, especially when the spray is kicking up high and wide. Down the inside for Leopard, no. Thinks better of it, has to concede defeat on that one. But that might leave him prone to Boris behind if he tries a lunge, but again, thinks better of it. But now Dralex is in the race lead, and can he hold it, Smith?
Oh, wow. That I had a little heart, my heart went for a moment there as Apex is retired from the Grand Prix. Not quite sure what happened to him. But yeah, they touched as they were going up towards Spoon. Verstappen got a little bit of
contact!
Slapper.
A humongous crash down towards turn 1, and Mays went for a move on Boris. I think it was decent. Now he's made contact with Hayden as well. There's cars flying up everywhere. Cautious to go wide.
Oh my God, Brad, absolutely huge crash. Brad literally went head on into Boris. Wow.
Oh.
I just caught the end of that where Boris has got no front wing left there. Where was the ghosting system? Come on, Codemasters. Seriously, that was dangerous. Just after all of that, yeah, I was going to say, meanwhile, Leopard has actually got past Mulder there, and so he's up into second. But look at the gap. Look, he's managed. Dralex is already pulling a gap on Leopard here.
The confident driving early on from the Canadian. It's just what he needs to do to keep this championship fight alive, heading towards Brazil. Meanwhile, Mulder continues to struggle, and now the Scotsman is going around the outside down towards Spoon Curve, but again, thinks better of it. But it's clear that the Red Bull is flying, but we've got a bit of a sort of mini team battle here. Granted, Wait's about a second, almost just over a second behind, but you've got Mulder, Amazed, Gianni and Wastel. Both Saubers and both Red Bulls scrapping away, which is still really nice seeing a proper midfield battle here. But Mulder is clearly struggling at this moment in time. He just can't seem to get a grip. And of course, still really draws a lap forward 27, but Mulder's had a terrible exit 200R again, round the outside through towards Spoon Curve. He's going to do his best to squeeze off Amazed, and just about does, but really he is struggling, especially in that sector 2 out of the hairpin. He just can't seem to get the car going again. Another tank slapper out at Spoon Curve, and this could be his opportunity down towards 130R. Are we going to see a potential null turn? He goes to the outside line. Here we go. Could we see a side by side for 130R? We're going to do our best to do side by side. They go through 130R, almost 190 miles an hour. But again, not quite. But now down the inside, going to make through for the Casino Triangle, where it's a lot more slower. Going to try and force his way from the outside and get a better exit down through the bump that is the final corner. And Gianni's going to try and follow him through as well, as you can see. And it does very much so. And the two Red Bulls are thriving in these conditions.
Can I just say, what an excellent racing by both those boys through 130R in the full wet conditions. Brilliant. And then Mace, that was a great move. Just kind of muscling in that Red Bull past Verstappen, kind of giving him no choice to go a little bit better traction at the end of the triangle, and then obviously managed to get past, and that obviously allowed Gianni through as well. The Red Bull boys are on a charge. Watch out, you two at front. Watch out. But obviously he's going to be defending from his teammate as well, so it's not going to be easy to try and pull away and obviously then defend from his teammate. Always Gianni has a moment there.
That was a big
Coming
moment.
130 yard.
They're not blue overalls anymore, sunshine. They are certainly not. As Dralex goes fastest, 44.2. Can Leopard respond? No, he can't. Even Amazed couldn't respond to that one. So it's clear that Dralex is loving these conditions. We saw it, as mentioned before, we saw it at Monza where he was really starting to get to grip with the wet conditions. But again, he just couldn't get the move done on Janny to really go on and command the race. But this time, he'd done it on Mulder, and he probably learnt from his mistakes. Could be a sign that they went for a dry setup to try and really command qualifying. But as you can see, Janny has now dropped back a 1.5 seconds to his teammate. But Amazed is bringing that gap down. It's now down to 2.6, you can say, and that is coming down rapidly, especially with considering that the gap between Dralex and Leopard is now out to 3 seconds. Amazed is absolutely gunning for it. It's like as if, well, he's a Scotsman, so he's probably used to the rain anyway, but in these conditions, he is just unbelievable.
He's absolutely thriving. I was literally, this is what, look, we are on the same wavelength. I saw that, I was like, went up to the gap, and I thought, right, look at this, he's already brought it down, and that's absolutely brilliant from the Scots. And like you say, he's probably used to the rain, so this is just completely normal for him. But yeah, he's bringing it down to 2.6. Dralex is really pulling that gap. He's already pulled 4/10 alone in this lap, so his pace is absolutely yellow flag somewhere. That is Wastel who's round again. Again, same place, hairpin again.
He is not enjoying his... Oh, he gets a massive tank around 200R and all. I could see this man end up in the wall at some point in this Grand Prix. Again, he has another tank slap heading down towards Spoon Curve. He's now basically snaking towards Spoon Curve. He's not braking. He's basically just having to keep the car moving from side to side, eventually trying to close himself down and bring that speed down.
Just to note, I was on board with Leopard as he came across the line. He went 1.5 quicker on that lap than he has done in the whole race so far. So let's not discount the German just yet. He's obviously, look at that, he's brought the gap down to 2.8 already. And he's pulled the gap on back to Amazed to 3 seconds. So it's intriguing as the gaps keep changing so quickly. Because obviously one little moment here in the wet and that's it, you lose so much time.
But the one thing that is crucial to mention is if Leopard closes up towards Dralex, that is a fight simply to keep Dralex's title hopes alive. That is for Leopard to win the championship here today at Japan. And well, let's for our sake hope we don't see a Senna Prost moment down towards the Casino Triangle, because that would mean so much beef that cows would be shocked.
Yeah, that would be one hefty roast dinner. Let's leave it at that. But yeah, but still, let's watch Leopard's lap here as Leopard goes 3/10 quicker again, sets to 43.8. There you go. Leopard is on the charge.
Of course, everyone will be going for the one stop here, Smith, but can we expect to see an undercut here from Amaze potentially if this gap remains as it is?
Yeah, definitely. If he wants to really get himself in the mix for the race victory, he's got to think it's Dralex sets to 43.6. Yeah, Leopard sets to 44.2 there, so he was... Look at that for VSR Amazed.
43. Oh, Leopard has run wide
by Leopard in the first turn.
A disastrous mistake.
Right. Disaster for the German. Oh, really tough corner that. But yeah, sorry, I was on board with Leopard. He just ran wide, went out onto the marbles, and he's losing it all. He's losing the back end as well. He's really starting to struggle now. Amaze is going to be right on the back of the German here, and look at the graph now. Leopard's lost over a second, if not near enough 2 seconds to Dralex.
It's like a big heavyweight boxing fight, and Leopard has just been stunned for the first time. That is really a big, hefty opportunity for the Scotsman to come in and potentially take P2 off of LCR Leopard. Of course, still a long way to go, but of course, if he can get past him, that will mean that the gap will come down to 8 points for the Brazilian Grand Prix, which of course presented by yourself. And oh, it's Mulder's. What's going on here between Hayden and Mulder for P5? Sorry, Hayden just goes a long way around on Mulder and gets a nice easy move, but it's clear that that both Saubers are still struggling massively in this Grand Prix.
There you go, Leopard, another. It couldn't go from bad to worse to Leopard there, and he's actually left Amaze through. What's going on?
What has just happened there?
Well, I'm not quite sure what happened there. You were on board with that. You saw that as well. He actually just let him go.
Yeah.
Maybe he just knows that Amaze is quicker than him, but that's not like Leopard. surely not. Yeah, he's really struggling with his tyres. That move into turn 1 really must have hurt his tyres. He's still close behind, but I'm not quite sure what was going on there.
That is one of the most bizarre scenes you'll see in a championship fight in possibly history. A man letting someone through when you've got your championship rival in front of you. It is bizarre, it is weird, but knowing Leopard, it is probably a stroke of genius. Who knows what could happen as we get towards the first round of stops. We're on lap 11 of 27, and we are getting towards them first round of stops. We can probably expect to see him in the next few laps to go towards the end, but Wastel is the first man into the pits.
In all of that, Hayden did get past Mulder, but Mulder's climbed up to the back of
oh, Leopard's out!
Here.
Leopard's out! He has crashed at the hairpin! And you couldn't quite believe it! Unbelievably, it is brilliant news that you can almost hear the screams from Mercedes because Williams have had a disastrous moment out of the hairpin, and we are surely in for a championship knockout at the Brazilian Grand Prix, Smith. What has just happened?
I'm actually speechless. I wasn't on board with that. All I saw was Leopard retire, and then I just saw his car strewn across the track. Oh my god. Dralex, if he can keep it together, will go to the final race leading the championship. We could not have thought this coming into this race today. But what an almighty, mighty blow to Leopard's chances of winning his third world title.
Indeed, ESR Mate has just hit. He's now on to another set of wets. Going to plan to go to the end. But I cannot quite believe what I've just... Leopard is out of the Japanese Grand Prix in unbelievable circumstances. Mercedes probably can't believe their luck. Dralex, all he has to do is just continue to lead this Grand Prix and he will have a 7-point advantage for the Brazilian Grand Prix. Well, he had it. It was in Dralex's court to do something, and Leopard has fallen on his own shoelaces.
Yeah, Dralex, like we say, obviously Leopard is obviously out of the Grand Prix, but Dralex has still got to come home in P1. He's still got to keep himself composed as he comes across the line to start lap 13. So he's obviously, I reckon he'll come in at the end of this lap, perfectly midway through the Grand Prix.
Indeed it is. Mulder behind Hayden, of course, after the move earlier in the Grand Prix just a few laps ago. But do not forget, Mulder starting pole. A massive tank left right at turn 1. And, well, the car for a brief second was heading for the wall. But again, the Sauber has another moment, and that's probably a sign to say, come on, let's get these tyres changed. Let's just try and do an undercut on Hayden. We've got to keep our eye on the battle between Amazed and Dralex, because the gap was about 6 seconds before the pit stop came into phase, and now I'm sure Dralex is probably feeling a little bit comfortable behind that wheel, but he doesn't want to get too comfortable because Amazed was flying when, of course, the gaps were coming. He did actually set the fastest lap to the moment. It was a 43.4, but Dralex is now going to come in. So in comes the Canadian for his first and what he probably hopes to be only stop at the Grand Prix. Mercedes are getting ready, as expected, another set of wets for him. Will Jani come in as well? Yes, he will. He's going to come in exactly the halfway point, and this was to be expected. Everyone to come in at exactly the halfway point, so you know that you can take them tyres to the end, Smith.
Yeah, definitely. Look, as everyone, so this is it. So stay on board with Amazed as he's coming around the final corner now. Dralex is still in the pits. As Amazed sets the fastest lap with a 43.0. So he has got out. What's the gap going to be here? Down to 2.7. Brilliant. That's a stroke. That's a massive stroke from for Amazed there. Brilliant undercut. He's really brought the gap down. Obviously, Dralex's tyres not going to get up to temperature for maybe a lap, maybe 2. So, can Amazed seize this opportunity and get the race victory? As there's a little battle going on for P4 here. Mulder is right up behind Hayden as they're coming through the S's. So can the Brit hold off the Flying Dutchman? As Amazed gets a 3-second penalty, that could be crucial going towards as he goes towards the end of the race. As Wastel. Oh, Mulder got another tank slap and nearly lost it again through the S's. Maybe pushing that a little bit too hard to try and keep up with Hayden.
The big talking point, of course, today as well was the fact that it was guaranteed to be a 2-horse race for the championship. Anyway, you might be questioning, oh, well, Kingly in 25 was still in the fight. But now he has dropped out of it due to the fact he was unable to attend today. Meanwhile, sorry, back towards the scrapman. Mulder is now on the outside line of Hayden down towards turn 2. Can he do it a long way around, heading towards the S-curves? Long way around, and what a move this could be if he could have fed him off towards the S-curves. And what a move from the Dutchman. Long way around through turns 1 and 2, and he's back up to P4.
Yeah, brilliant racing from both of those two. Literally, that was how Mulder managed to hold it around the outside there. Kudos to Hayden, gave him plenty of space, gave him plenty of room. Brilliant racing from those two. Hayden tried to pull it back through turn 2, but didn't quite get anything. But I don't think this is the last we've seen of this battle, because obviously we've seen Mulder's. He's made quite a few errors today. Oh, Hayden has a bit of a time stop, but then Mulder has another one going to the headband, and then obviously Hayden has to take avoiding action there. So he lost a bit of time there.
I think that was more Hayden making a mistake. He got on the curb at turn 10, just the corner before, and then basically ended up just holding the brakes and hoping that that car would stop. That was a fearful moment on board with Hayden, let's put it that way. Yeah,
it was obviously pushing, and then obviously Mulder's Dralex, here we go, look at that. He's pulled the gap out. Mace had an issue. I think Mace may have had a problem. He's had a problem in that lap. He was a second slower than his previous lap there. So yeah, Mace has had a problem. And Dralex obviously saying.
Mulder gets a 5-6 go. He ran wide at 130R, and I mean, like, really, he was on the AstroTurf and then basically had to skip across the grass to get back onto the water track, and he has a massive tank way out the Palmer corner. Now towards turn 1, can he have a chance there on the inside line? He gets to the slipstream, shifts to the inside as Mulder, now round the outside. Hayden's forced to go long way around, trying to swoop his way down towards turn 1. No, not quite, but the undercut switchback could be on, but again, not quite just yet for the Brit, but the poor X out of 2. Oh! Incredible reactions there from LCR Hayden to not run into the back of Mulder, and just about holds both his nose, and Mulder holds P4.
Is Dralex struggling, or is Amaze just on the charge?
It's a good question. I wish I knew the answer. I wish I was telepathic, but all we can do is ask questions and wonder over the next just over 5 laps to go in this Japanese Grand Prix. I'm sure Dralex is desperately wanting to keep on his race, which do not forget, of course, Amaze has a 3-second time point to serve nevertheless. So as it stands, Dralex will take the checkered flag even if Amaze gets past him. He has to get a further 3 seconds in front of him. And judging by the pace and the tyre difference, that is going to be a big ask.
Yeah, massive ask, but you never know. I know we know a certain German who will be pulling for Amaze right now in these last few laps to get past the Canadian and make it an equal battle going into the final race into Brazil.
Of course, I don't want to curse Dralex, but if he were to win this race, he would be in the territory of the curse of 2 race wins back to back. No one has ever won 3 races in a row in LCR this season, just to go to show how close LCR has been throughout all 15 rounds we have witnessed so far. We've got 5 laps to go. The gap is down to just over a second, and I mean just. You're talking milliseconds between the two, and one mistake from either of them could be game, set and match to the other.
Just further down, some nice little battles brewing between the both Force Indias and Salvas again, as Hayden's managed to catch back up to Mulder. He's got within a second, and obviously Brad is still on those 18 lap. Oh, as Way still runs wide up to Spoon, nearly loses the car as Brad's on 18 lap old wet tyres, and he is pushing the Salvas. Is he going to go for a move here? They're side by side going up to 130R. Looks like the Salvador's just got, obviously there's just those fresher tyres, got a little bit more grip, and Brad is literally pushing Wastill through 130R. This is brilliant racing in the wet. This is absolutely brilliant. This is what you want to see.
Yeah, meanwhile, in the battle between Sauber and Force India, Hayden is back towards the back of Mulder, and it's clear that consistency-wise, Hayden has the upper hand, but pace-wise, Mulder has the upper hand. So it's a bit of a sort of battle of 2 tails, really. You'll see Mulder catch up due to his 1 lap of glory, get past, Mason get out the next few laps, and then ultimately the consistency will come back in. Hayden will close back up, and it's really what well, like you said, Smith, it's what we want to see. Some brilliant fighting in the rain that, let's face it, you or I wouldn't dare do. We've got penultimate lap, by the way, between the two leaders, and Amazed has dropped back.
Oh, well, we said that. We just catch up a little bit then. Yeah, he's dropped back a little bit, obviously. Maybe he's just not got enough life left in those tyres to push to get close to Dralex, and obviously maybe he's just consolidating and taking that P2, which will be a great drive from the Scotsman.
Indeed, but do not, of course, discount the fact that this will be Dralex's. Yes, you are correct. He will walk out the championship lead today with only his second win of the season. Last round at the Russian Grand Prix, we were all cheering for him, thinking surely this time he's going to do it. He's had numerous times where we thought maybe this time he's going to claim his first race victory. Italy, Singapore immediately come to mind for the Canadian. He also missed out, by the way, just to let you know, he has had a third. Not once, not twice, not even 3 times, 4 times he has been on the third step of the podium. 3 times he's been on the second. This will be his second time he stands on the top, and probably is about to feel unbelievable how this has happened. Leopard has had a disaster. Williams have had a mare. Mercedes have had an unprecedented and unpredictable day that even they didn't expect. And look at that, Dralex goes fastest again, a 42.3 going even still on the final lap worth of racing. We have got 3.6 miles left to be driven for the Canadian, and again, Smith, surely he's going to do it.
Surely, listen, I don't want to jinx it, sorry, while you were talking, I was on board with the Mulder-Hayden ban, and Hayden had the look into Spoon Curve. He got a better run out of the hairpin. He stuck his nose in but couldn't quite get the move done, didn't quite have the traction. But this is obviously an ongoing battle here as they come onto the last lap as well. As Waster gets another 3-second time penalty, but Brad is all over him as well. There's battles all the way down the field here as we go into the final laps of this race.
Now we're going to see a few photo finishes between Sauber and Force India. We most certainly aren't going to see one for third.
Maze has run wide, sorry, not ahead. Maze has run wide, going into the hairpin, so that is definitely game over for the Scot. He went in too hard into the hairpin, obviously trying really hard to catch up to Dralex, and then he just went onto the grass. And obviously you can see that from the gap, it's gone out to over 3 seconds now.
It was a big roll of the dice.
So basically all you got to think... Oh! Interesting enough, that Drizzt and Brad battle is literally right in front of Dralex.
Indeed, as you can just see there, it's waiting a massive wobble heading in towards the final. We are going to have a nice little cheeky final lap battle, surely, as long as they don't let VSR Dralex pass. But Dralex, unbelievably, in the Japanese Grand Prix, is going to walk out with the championship as he wins in Japan and goes fastest of all with 42.0. And unbelievably, with Brazil looming, Dralex is ready for a showdown against LCR Leopard. It's not done, it's now advantage to the Canadian, and I can't believe it. But here is your final classification order for you. So VSR Dralex wins the Japanese Grand Prix, and it's Amazed by a phenomenal effort from P9, comes home in P2. The Scotsman with 18 points today. If it were to finish in this order, Leopard takes the victory, Dralex comes second at the Brazilian Grand Prix. I can't believe I'm saying this, but on countback, on the most race victories, Leopard would take the championship. We would have a 0-point championship. That's like the Premier League title going down to goal difference on the final day. That is just how mad that is.